Good morning, and welcome to this special online service led by the youth of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. I'm Janice Morris, a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm happy to be joining you today. We want to especially welcome you if this is your first time. We have a weekly email newsletter where you can find out about next week's service and all of our other activities. So please email newcomer@uucava.org to be added to that list. After the service, I invite you to join us for our virtual coffee hour. The link is in your connections email, so we can connect and chat from wherever we happen to be. Please also continue to watch your inbox for emails from Reverend Teresa, Walter, and the other staff about the many ways UUCA is staying active and connected as a community online through calls, Zoom activities, and other outreach. And check out our Facebook page as well. The youth service is one of my favorite events of the year. So sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy this opportunity to hear from the young people in our church. We are happy you are here. We are all in this together, and we are proud to be a church where we can come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose. Welcome.
Joining us here on this Sunday. Maybe you aren't joining us physically, but hopefully you're joining us in spirit at our first ever virtual youth service. I'm Max Kapler, and I'm currently a member of the youth group at UUCA. The youth service is my favorite part of youth group, and this year we had to do it all from home. Ironically, today we are talking about connection both before and during quarantine. In my mind, connection is what church is all about. Hopefully, today can help you connect with something, maybe yourself, maybe your family, maybe your friends. What we are hoping for is that we can connect with you. Today won't be a regular service, even by quarantine standards. We tried to make something special that shows you who the youth group are and what we believe in. Without further elaboration, welcome to the youth service. Please enjoy. We begin by lighting this candle.
Today's story for all ages is going to be special. We couldn't quite film together, so instead, we asked the kids in youth group to film and act out parts of the story from home however they wanted. And without further ado, we present Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed, I tripped on the skateboard by mistake.
At breakfast, Anthony found a remote control hand, Nick found a blue fish, but all I found was cereal.
I think I'll move to Australia.
There were 2 cupcakes and Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a Life of Jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to get in the car, I fell where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. My mom came back from the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting.
When we picked up my dad at the office, he said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. Hello? He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad idea.
We ate lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot, I got soap in my eyes, and my marble went down the drain.
I am having a terrible, horrible, very bad day. My mom says that some days are like that, even in Australia.
When you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Bring your attention to your heart and chest area and match your inhalations with your exhalations. Really visualize and imagine the air flowing in and out of your heart and chest, and breathe slower and deeper than usual. Really make a sincere effort to have feelings of gratitude and appreciation for someone, something, or some place in your life right now. And then, when you feel comfortable, open your eyes, and when you do, try and bring that feeling with you as you open your eyes.
When I first came to UUCA, I was very young, and my parents were looking for a church, really a community to belong to. I remember enjoying those first few RE classes that I attended, but at the time I was a lot more interested in sleeping in on Sunday mornings than going to church, and so it wasn't until 7th grade that I finally came back and I made the decision to stay, and I've been here ever since. It's from 7th grade to senior year. The thing that I think really solidified my love for this community was definitely the service trips. Those are what I think I'll remember the most. Every Sunday, we meet and we get to know each other and we build friendships. But I feel like it's really on the service trips that those friendships are really cemented. And I feel like that's something the youth say a lot, but I think that is just a testament to how important those trips really are. There are connections that I have made with other youth on these trips that will last far beyond my time in the youth group. And that, I think, is the mark of a truly unique experience and a truly special community. Thank you.
You were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident, nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. You left behind a wife and 2 children. It was a painless death. The EMTs tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered that you're better off, trust me.
And that's when you met me.
What happened? Where am I?
You died.
There was a truck. It was skidding.
Yep.
I died?
Yep. But don't feel bad about it. Everyone dies.
What is this place? Is this the afterlife?
More or less.
Wait, are you God?
Yep. I'm God. So you don't look like God. I just look like some man, or possibly a woman. Some vague authority figure, maybe more of a grammar school teacher than the Almighty.
My kids, my wife.
What about them?
Will they be fine?
That's what I like to see. You just died, and your main concern is for your family. That's good stuff right there. Don't worry, they'll be fine. Your kids will remember you as perfect in every way. They didn't have time to grow contempt for you. Your wife will cry on the outside, but will be secretly relieved. To be fair, your marriage is falling apart. If it's any consolidation, she'll feel very guilty for feeling relieved.
Oh. So, what happens now? Do I go to heaven or hell or something?
Neither. You'll be reincarnated.
Oh, so the Hindus were right.
All religions are right in their own way.
So, what's the point then? When I get reborn, it's a clean slate. I'm a baby. I forget everything I've had in this life.
Not so. You have within you all the knowledge and experiences of all your past lives. You just don't remember them right now. Your soul is more magnificent, beautiful, and gigantic than you can possibly imagine. A human mind can only contain a tiny fraction of what you are. It's like sticking your finger in a glass of water to see if it's hot or cold. You put a tiny part of yourself into the vessel, and when you bring it back out, you've gained all the experiences that it had.
Oh, so how many times have I been reincarnated then?
Oh, lots. Lots and lots. And into lots of different lives. This time around, you'll be a Chinese peasant girl in 540 AD.
Whoa, so you're sending me back in time?
Well, I guess technically. Time as you know it only exists in your universe. Things are different where I come from.
Where you're from?
Oh, sure. I come from somewhere else. And there are others, like me. I know you'll want to know what it's like there, but honestly, you wouldn't understand.
Oh. But wait, if I get reincarnated to other places in time, I could have interacted with myself at some point.
Oh, sure. Happens all the time. And with both lives only aware of their own lifespan, you don't even know what's happening.
So, what's the point of it all?
Seriously? You're asking me the meaning of life. Isn't that a bit stereotypical?
Well, it's a reasonable question.
The meaning of life, the reason I made this whole universe, is for you to mature.
You mean mankind want us to mature?
No, just you. I made this whole universe for you. With each new life, you grow and mature and become a larger and greater intellect.
Just me? What about everybody else?
There is no one else. In this universe, there's just you and me.
But everyone on Earth.
All you. Different incarnations of you.
Wait, I'm everyone?
Now you're getting it.
So I'm every human being who has ever lived.
Or who will ever live, yeah.
So I'm Abraham Lincoln.
And you're John Wilkes Booth too.
I'm Hitler?
And you're the millions he killed.
But I'm Jesus.
And you're everyone who followed him. Every time you victimize someone, you are victimizing yourself. Every act of kindness you've done to yourself. Every happy and sad moment ever experienced by any human was or will be experienced by you.
Why? Why do all this?
Because someday you will become like me. Because that's what you are. You're one of my kind. You're my child.
Whoa. I'm a god?
No, not yet. You're a fetus. You're still growing. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you'll be grown enough to be born.
So the whole universe, it's just
an egg. And now it's time for you to move on to your next life.
It's quite flattering light here. Whoa! And that is a successful take.
Hey, I'm Kitty, I'm a senior, and this is my reflection. I always used to think I was an introvert. This year, though, I started putting myself out there for the first time in my life, making friends and memories. This is the best year of my life, and I thought things were about to get even better, that not only was I about to have prom and graduate alongside the kids I'd grown up with all my life and learned to love, get to have all those classical American coming-of-age milestones, but that I could spend my last months of senior year getting to know all the people I'd always wanted to, and getting closer to those I'd already loved before we all scattered to start our separate futures. And then they canceled school. You know, we were all on the cusp of so many enormous changes in our lives, but this was not a surprise we expected to be surprised by. My generation was raised on a gospel of positivity. It's a good thing, of course, but because of it, I think there's a lot of reluctance in us right now to say that we're hurting, or scared, or sad, or maybe to even think that we have a right to be, given that things could be so much worse. I see that reluctance in myself now. But the truth is, I'm not doing well. Not at all. I'm cut off from everything and everyone that brings me joy. My academic motivation and social progress, my growth as a person, has all ground to a halt, along with the rest of the world. I'm struggling to be the positive and cheerful person I'd loved myself as. I'm struggling to accomplish the simplest things. It takes so much of my energy just to stay okay, and I have very little energy lately. It's I'm not having a good time right now. And I think a lot of people aren't. To lose this many plans and opportunities and dreams at once, disappointment at this level, it feels almost like grief. A friend of mine said that we're all in the same miserable boat now, and I said, well, that's the trouble, isn't it? We aren't in the same miserable boat. Maybe it would be okay if we were, but we're not. We're all in individual miserable boats, adrift and alone. In times of crisis, communities instinctively want to draw together, to shelter each other and lick our wounds until the hard times pass. The particular cruelty of this particular crisis is that that instinct is our greatest threat. I'm gonna miss you guys. I miss you already, but I will, more. I grew up with the youth group. It was there for me when I had no one. I'm sorry we seniors couldn't spend our last months of it together, that we couldn't go on our service trip. It would have been my 5th one. But I'm so, so glad that we had the chance to do this last service. Closure, solidarity. It gets better. I'll remember. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Leanne, a senior in this youth group, and today I am talking to you from my home. And I would just like to take a moment to appreciate what this youth group has been for me and how it's impacted my life. So I remember being a freshman. Being new to the group, I didn't know that many people. So I felt awkward coming to church sometimes because, some of my friends had left, and being a freshman, you are unsure about a lot of things. Yet I still felt welcomed whenever I showed up for youth group at 11:15 on a Sunday to take my usual seat on the floor to begin check-in. I still felt very welcomed, and that was important for me throughout the year. And one of the experiences that kind of represents my growth during this period of time was the Hopi service trip. And this year we had decided to go to a Hopi Native American reservation in Arizona to do some service. And I was excited for this trip. I was very excited. But I was also afraid because I was coming late with my mom and one of my good friends wasn't going. So I was worried about who I was going to talk to, and being out of my comfort zone for a week and sharing a tent with 2 people that I didn't really know that well. But when I arrived and when I began staying there and doing the service, my worries evaporated, okay? I made so many friends, and I had so many wonderful experiences, like seeing a beautiful night sky with a bunch of stars with no light pollution, and learning about the Hopi Native American culture, and exploring the mesa, and delivering supplies to a bunch of families, and petting a bunch of puppies too. But this experience was so important for me because by the end of freshman year, I had a bunch of friends in youth group that I may not have made if I hadn't gone on this trip. Even though I showed up late, that didn't even really impact anything at all for me. And this video is basically just my thank you to youth group for always doing this for me, for taking me out of my comfort zone and providing me with these amazing experiences that are partly the reason why I am so confident today. Clearly I'm confident enough to speak to all of you, right? So, thank you, youth group. Thank you for giving me this confidence and taking me out of my comfort zone and giving me these experiences. It's been an amazing 4 years with this group. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Z. I'm a senior from WNL. This is going to be a bit of a weird testimonial. It's going to sound bad and probably look bad, but with everything that's been going on, this is the only way I could think of doing this so that it would feel right.
I've relied on this church and youth group so much. Every week, I would come excited to be part of this amazing community and leave excited to see them next week. It's not only the weekly gatherings, but the fulfilling service trips and the joyous overnights that makes this youth group one of the most important and life-changing communities in my life. I've always considered community to be essential to divinity. I mean, it's right here in our UU principles. Just don't ask me where. What I'm trying to say is that the past couple of months have kind of sucked. It kind of feels like I'm walking into a tunnel. I'm a senior, and throughout my high school career, I've poured out my heart into this youth group and worked as hard as possible to make it a place where everyone can feel invited, including myself. Even though setting up and coordinating planning meetings is about as interesting as it sounds, and getting kids to reply to interest forms feels like pulling teeth, I would much prefer that than to the complete absence I have now. It feels like the light of this group has been receding, and all I can hear is the quiet footsteps with each echo off the wall, reminding me that they are only my own. I can't assure this will all hold for next year. Coming out of high school, I always wanted one place that I could point to, knowing I left it, making it a better place. But now, it feels like I'm just yelling into this empty tunnel, hoping it all sticks. As I'm leaving everything behind, my religion was supposed to be the one thing that stayed. But it now feels like I'm losing this divine community with no way to say goodbye. It reminds me of this idea from the philosopher Albert Camus called the absurd, which states how humans are constantly looking for meaning in a meaningless world, and how all the work we put into that comes out with seemingly nothing. He compares it to the Greek myth of Sisyphus, who rolled a boulder up a hill for eternity, only to watch it roll back down with no progress. And I have to say, the last couple of months have felt truly absurd. It feels painful and frustrating and takes so much work, and it feels like it leads to nothing. This tunnel I'm in, it goes on and on with no point, so I even take another step. I don't even remember the last youth group meeting I had. It all ended so quickly and so abruptly. I wish I knew I was having my final goodbye before I didn't say it. But as I sit in this tunnel, I may not remember how this group ended, but I can certainly remember everything else. I remember all the anxiety I felt, planning the intergenerational dance, worrying that no one was going to show up or have any fun, but how my fears were drowned out so quickly with dancing and soda cocktails. I remember flopping onto the lone chair we had in the dorm during the West Virginia service trip, talking with everyone about what they did for the day while playing cards. I remember staying up until 3 during sharing circle, where the full divinity of this youth group became so apparent. And I certainly remember all the people in this youth group who created that divinity. And I can say, without a doubt, that they are the most welcoming, caring, and passionate people I know. And this world will always be needing more of them. Camus' story of Sisyphus didn't stop at him rolling the boulder up the hill for eternity, but instead, him imagining Sisyphus happy. Sisyphus revolted against the universe that placed him there, smiling every time he pushed that boulder up the hill, and jumping with joy while he watched it roll back down. And what more can we do but revolt against this absurd world by enjoying it? Remembering what we've lost, and having faith in the divinity that inhabits all of us. As long as I remember that, the light of this community won't be lost in this tunnel. Even if it's not as bright as the one outside, it still illuminates and guides me. And I know if I let it, I'll end up outside, once again. That's it.
UUCA is recognized throughout Northern Virginia as an activist congregation. We make a difference in people's lives by advocating, organizing, volunteering, and sharing our space and resources, and by giving of our financial support. As is our custom, we share 70% of our plate offering with partner organizations that are doing good work on our behalf, both within our community and around the world. The money received for our offering will collectively support our partners' ongoing work and amplify the voices of people in the margins, and will bring more justice and peace into the world. One such organization is Equality Virginia, the leading advocacy organization in Virginia seeking equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. EV believes in a truly inclusive Commonwealth where all are equally valued regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, and a Virginia that is safe, welcoming, and equal place for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals and their families to live, work, and play. There are many ways you can give to UUCA. First, you can always mail or drop off the check payable to UUCA with the word offering in the memo line. Second, you can give online at the church website, www.uucava.org. Click on the donate button on the top of the page. Finally, you can donate using the mobile app Give++. Enter the zip code 22204 and choose our church, UUCA, and follow the prompt to give now. Now, let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Thank you.
Above
something wrong? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I looking on my tin can? Far above the moon, planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
Reflection isn't as personal as some of the other people who have spoken today, but it still means a lot to me. Today, I want to speak about this year's class of seniors in youth group. Just so you know, they are Z, Emerson, Leanne, Kitty, Ben, DC, Carson, and Jasper. You might have seen them around church sometime. They've been involved in church for at least 4 years, but many have been members for longer. They've been participating in youth services for years. Many of you have seen them perform or speak. They've done service trips to Hopi and West Virginia and volunteered at AFAC. They've done hundreds of check-ins and dozens of overnights. Now I want to say a few words about each of them. Jasper was an important part of youth group, always able to bring a relaxed and dedicated energy to whatever we were doing. He got to show off his great guitar skills by being active in the youth band and contributing lots to youth services. Leanne has always been a funny and positive presence in our youth group since she joined. She was always able to uplift the spirits of everyone in the room, like at the service trips to Hopi and West Virginia, where she made inside jokes and helped create some of the most memorable stories. Over the years, DC's consistent humor and attitude have anchored the youth group in many situations. His work, especially when utilizing his musical talent during youth Sundays, was always a highlight. Ben will be remembered for his funny and compassionate support of the youth, as well as his impressive motorcycle skills. He was always considerate, never forgetting everyone in the group, making sure everyone was welcomed and invited. Ben always worked as hard as he could, especially during the service trips. If you ever wondered what it looks like to dig a trench or place a floor with passion, you could have watched Ben do it for hours in Hopi and West Virginia without a complaint. Carson was always willing to listen, treating everybody with kindness and respect. Every time he showed up to an event, you knew he was there. His presence was unavoidable, as he could always lift up the energy and mood of any room he was in. Despite her quiet appearance, Kitty is one of the most active and energetic members of the youth group that we have. She's changed a lot over the years, but has always kept that quintessential Kitty spirit, whether she's talking about Trapjaw Ants or A$AP Rocky. You can always count on unique ideas and intriguing stories when Kitty is part of the conversation. Z has been at the core of youth leadership for years now. He's been a very involved member of youth group and has worked unbelievably hard at every fundraiser, dance, and service trip, stepping up for just about anything that needs to get done. I swear that most youth events would barely happen without his presence. Besides his great work ethic, Z is a super integral part of making the youth group feel like home. He's always able to include everyone and often brings a smile to my face. Emerson never disappointed, often bringing his hilarious presence in the youth group, letting us know the rules for moshing in the pit, and making youth group generally unforgettable. He's been at basically every service trip, fundraiser, and Sunday meeting, working as hard as he could to make every event go over smoothly, which, trust me, is quite a challenge in our youth group. We will miss you all. Thank you for letting us be a part of your youth group and making it such a great place to be in. Before the service ends, I'd like to thank the people who helped make this service. First, to all the youth who wrote, performed, filmed, and coordinated, thank you. Special thanks to Z and Emerson for editing parts and coordinating and communicating everything that needed to be done. Thank you to our advisors for helping us out, keeping us on task, connecting us with the right people, and doing more than necessary. We really appreciate all that you do. This service would probably not have happened without you. Huge thanks to Christina, our youth group advisor, who has worked tirelessly to keep us together and on track. Final thanks, of course, go to the helpful people outside the youth group. Reverend Walter for his knowledge of the service and support of the youth, and Leanne, the director of RE, for her help coordinating. Thank you to the amazing Marianne Bolton, who edited this entire service together despite our procrastination and late submissions. It was so greatly appreciated. Thanks to you, the viewer, for watching our service. On behalf of the youth group, I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Remember, we are a community and can always stay connected no matter what.